Israel has faced global condemnation for just the latest of their horrific acts of the IDF in Gaza, that being the back-to-back strikes on a hospital in southern Gaza this week that killed 22 people, including multiple health workers, emergency response crews, and 5 journalists as well. And as the days have passed since that attack, more details have been coming out. And I want to show you, we'll talk over this, but I want to show you CNN put together sort of a frame by frame of the second of the double taps. In this case, take a look. And so you can see it, you can see the building right there, the balcony where the health workers and emergency response people are clustered. And then, and this is horrific, you can see the first strike against it. This is against the people that are rushing to try to help people who have been bombed. And then an almost immediate second incoming round. And again, the fact that there were 2 so close back to back, seemingly 2 different tanks firing in this area, makes it clear that this was not like just a tank firing on a target of opportunity. This was a coordinated attack with multiple vehicles striking a balcony that the Israeli military had long known is a place not only for health workers. I mean, it's a hospital. It's just the latest hospital that was intentionally attacked by the IDF, but that the media use that particular balcony and they chose to attack it. Now, that's the video. We'll give you the details in case you haven't seen this. So this happened on Monday. A balcony at the Nasser Hospital was hit by what appeared to be a tank shell, killing a Reuters cameraman and others. 9 minutes later, so just enough time for emergency response workers to get to the site to try to save lives. That's when Israel attacked again. It's a tactic known as the double tap. You create this crisis and then you murder the response workers when they've had time to actually get there. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu conceded that the incident was a tragic mishap, but I don't buy either of those 2 words. I don't think that he considers it to be tragic. If he did, they would stop doing this every single week after week after week. And I don't think it was a mishap. I think that balcony was intentionally targeted by multiple tanks for the double tap. I think there's no mishap here. It was intentional. Now, the Israeli military has backed off of even that minor thing from Netanyahu admitting that this was a mistake. They say 6 terrorists had been killed in the attack. It was directed at a camera that was positioned by Hamas. See, there was a camera there, so we had to strike it. And then we had to strike what was left of the camera 9 minutes later, once nurses and doctors, and that's the cover story that they are providing. Again, by the way, they killed the terrorists there. If you're gonna present this as a war and not as a brutal colonial ethnic cleansing of land, if this is a war, then presumably there's 2 sides of the war. And if you're gonna pretend that these doctors and nurses are Hamas, if this Reuters cameraman is Hamas, then you can't keep calling them terrorists if you're gonna pretend that this is a war. See, wars have 2 sides, okay? And the Hamas camera, which is a Reuters camera, it's not a Hamas camera. Again, they're lying about every step of this, is targeting the IDF. There's no Israeli civilians wandering around southern Gaza. So how is it terrorism? Again, can you decide what your cover story is gonna be as you continue to kill civilians at the clip that you are? In any event, that balcony that we showed you there in the video, that thankfully CNN put together the video, it was a well-known live camera position used by Reuters, the Associated Press, and other global media outlets. The location was also known to be used by journalists searching for cell signal to upload their material. Now, the IDF says something akin to oopsie doopsie, and they insisted that the IDF does not intentionally target civilians. Okay, you could say that. You've killed tens of thousands. 83, better than 8 in 10 of the people you've killed have been civilians. So if you want us to believe that you're not intentionally targeting them, then you are admitting to us that you are the most comically inept military that has ever existed in the world. Russia is conducting intentional war crimes on Ukraine. Okay, they're literally packing up and shipping off Ukrainian kids. And yet they've killed 1/10 the percentage of civilians that you have. Are you saying that we should have higher standards for Russia than we do for the IDF, a military that not only is incredibly well armed and well provisioned and all that, but that we literally fund? So it's not that you're evil, it's that you are absolutely incompetent at your jobs. Now, of course, that's not the case It's intentional, it's evil, but to be clear, they have once again killed civilians. And I just want to briefly recognize those that they killed, the journalists in particular, Reuters contractor Al Masri, freelance visual journalist Mariam Abu Daga and Moath Abu Taha, who both worked for the AP and Reuters throughout the war. There was a freelance journalist, Ahmed Abu Aziz, and Mohammed Salama, a cameraman for Al Jazeera in Gaza. In fact, in this photo, you can see the literal balcony that was struck, and 2 of the victims are visible in that shot because this is where the media was, and the IDF knew it, okay? It wasn't an accident. It has been a specific strategy of war to wipe out journalists inside of Gaza, and they've been very successful at it. They have killed nearly 200 journalists in just 2 years. And by the way, I'll end on this. I know I'm way over and I apologize for that. It used to be that news outlets in conflicts, including in this conflict, Reuters is telling us this, they would share the locations of their media so that their journalists wouldn't be accidentally killed. Reuters doesn't do that anymore. Do you know why? They had to stop because when they would tell the IDF where their journalists were, too many of their journalists were being killed. So they decided that just leaving it up to the fates was safer than effectively doxing their journalists so that they could be intentionally targeted by the IDF. And don't worry, they still found out about it. They still got them. They got what they wanted, the IDF there, but utterly insane. And this by itself should be the worst war crime of this conflict, but it's not. We know that it's not. It's an utter tragedy, but it's in the top 200 or 300. And people will mourn not only the journalists, but the health workers. And then next week, there will be something worse. And then the week after that, they'll gun down a bunch of kids that are gathering water at a stream or something. And then they'll shoot a bunch of grandparents that were trying to get flour from a food distribution site. And then the IDF won't have to worry about this. They won't have to conduct the investigation that they were never going to conduct because people will have forgotten about this war crime because it will have been pushed out of the news cycle by all the war crimes that are, even as I broadcast this, being planned and will soon be executed.